Hey everyone. Um,
Strangulation and manner.
Alright guys, here's the full autopsy report.
Recording in progress.
Pretty sure that. I'll be right back, hold on. Never mind. But, okay, so yeah. That's not fixing the audio. Here. Be right back.
Hello, thank you all for joining us. I am Dr. Brent Blue, Teton County, Wyoming coroner. After a detailed investigation by our forensic pathologist, our anthropologist, and local law enforcement, with assistance from the FBI, the Teton County Coroner Office is following the following verdict in the death of Gabrielle Nora Petito. We hereby find the cause and manner of death to be the cause, death by strangulation, and manner is homicide. By Wyoming state statute, no other information will be released about the autopsy. The only thing that is released in the state of Wyoming is cause and manner of death.
I think they said they can't hear you. Just 1 second.
Should I start over then? Thank you for joining us. Sorry about the audio issue. I'm Dr. Brent Blue, Teton County, Wyoming coroner. After a detailed investigation by our forensic pathologist, our anthropologist, and local law enforcement, with assistance from the FBI, the Teton County Coroner's Office is following the following verdict. In the manner of death of Gabrielle Lenora Petito, we find the cause and manner to be cause, death by strangulation, and manner is homicide. By Wyoming state statute, only the cause and manner of death are released. Their autopsy findings and photographs and that sort of material is not released by state statute. And I'll be glad to entertain some questions at this time.
Hi, Brian. This is Alex with the News and Guide. Could you hear me?
Yes.
I'm curious whether you're able to pinpoint a date of death and when, and if you know whether or when Gabby's remains will be returned to her family.
The remains have been returned to the mortuary here, and the mortuary is dealing with the family at this time as far as the disposition of the remains. As far as the time of death, we are estimating 3 to 4 weeks from the time that the body was found. That is actually determined more by law enforcement than than our office.
Chris Vivian, you are able to ask your question.
What's the question? I didn't hear a question.
Seems like that.
Chris, I
audio.
believe that you are muted. If you can unmute yourself.
Okay, it's John Walsh from In Pursuit with John Walsh on
Oh.
Discovery ID. Dr. Blue, thank you for your
John
time.
Walsh.
I think everybody in the world believes that Brian Laundrie killed Gabby With your extensive work on the body, are you sure that it's Brian Laundrie? And will the FBI issue a nationwide homicide warrant now that they know the cause of death?
We are only tasked with the determination of cause and manner of death.
Yeah.
Who
It's like,
committed
who
the
did it?
homicide is up to law enforcement, and I cannot answer the question about the FBI. You would have to contact them.
Jeremy Kopus, you are now allowed to ask your question.
Yes, hello, doctor. If you could please, can you comment on any other bruising, maybe on the body that possibly was healing, possibly older bruises or cuts that might have been healing over the last couple of weeks before her passing?
By Wyoming state statute, no other information about the autopsy is released, just the cause of death.
Hi there, this is Heather Lee, a reporter at ABC Action News in Tampa, Florida. I just wanted to know if you could explain why it took about a month for this process to finish. I think a lot of people were hoping that they would learn this information sooner. So I just think if you could just explain the process and why it took a month.
Well, the main reason was that we were very exacting in our examination and the detail by which that examination was done. We were waiting for various specialists to come in and help us with this investigation. We were waiting on toxicology to be returned, and it was just a matter of making sure we had everything right.
Thank you.
Is there another question?
Brian Enton. I believe you're
It's like
unmuted right now.
every news reporter, Brian Enton, John Walsh, I knew both of them.
Okay. Steve Fabian.
Yes, hi, doctor. How are you? I am curious if any DNA samples were taken from Gabby's remains, and also if the body was intact, are you able to tell us the condition of Gabby's remains?
I can tell you the DNA samples were taken by law enforcement, and all I can tell you about remains is that the body was outside for 3 to 4 weeks.
So all I can really say is just how she died.
Chris Vivian, do you have your hand up?
Was that a question? I didn't hear the question there.
Question.
Dr. Blue,
Yes.
it's John Walsh again from In Pursuit with John Walsh. You will probably be the most important witness at the trial. And I asked you before how confident you feel that Brian Laundrie, and they use the semantics, he was a person of interest. I'm old school. He was the only suspect ever. And I just wonder, you're going to be the most important guy at the trial, probably. Do you have any doubts it's Brian Laundrie?
I can't
answer that
make any
question.
comment about any suspects because we are not involved in that part of the investigation. We are only involved in the investigation of the body of the deceased. So who committed the homicide is really to be determined by law enforcement.
You could ask if
Right,
any
but
DNA
I
was
thank
found.
you for your hard work. And I always say in so many cases I've been involved in, let the pathologist and the coroner do their work no matter how long it takes. So I think you've probably done a really good job on this case. Thank you for your time.
Hey there, doctor. This is Rochelle Aline with ABC Action News in Tampa. Just a quick question. Can you kind of walk us through the process to how you arrived at this specific manner of death?
In the state of Wyoming, there are 4 possibilities for the manner of death. They are homicide, suicide, accident, and natural. And those are the 4 choices. When we do an investigation, we look at the crime scene or the scene of the death, the scene of the body, the condition of the body, and findings at autopsy and toxicology. And that is how we arrive at the manner of death. So it really depends on lots of different circumstances.
Dr. Stephen Fabian again from Inside Edition. Can you tell us if the body was buried when it was discovered or if the body was on the surface?
I can't tell you that. That's would be something you'd have to ask the FBI because we're not allowed to release that information.
Dang. It's like you can only answer 2 questions: how she died and was it a homicide or not? And which answer anything else.
Kelly Vaughn. Do you have a question, Kelly Vaughn? We have Brian Enting in the chat who has a question. What's your question, Brian? Was there any impact on her body from weather or wild animals in the national park?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Was there any impact on her body from weather or wild animals in the national park?
All I can really comment about that is that her body was outside in the wilderness for 3 to 4 weeks.
KSL assignment, you are unmuted.
That Amanda question was a little graphic.
KSL assignment.
Hello, Dan Rascone here from KSL TV in Salt Lake. Dr. Blue, can you tell us at all whether or not, was it believed that she was murdered there at that location, or is it any indication that her body was drugged there or taken there, or can you give us any indication there?
I can't comment on that. That would be something you'd have to speak with the law enforcement or the FBI.
Matthew Sella. Matthew Sella, do you have a question?
Hey, Dr. Blue. It's actually Jimmy from dailymail.com in New York here. What were the results of the toxicology report? And is there any suggestion that Gabby had any drugs in her system? And if so, what were they?
The results of the toxicology are not public knowledge by Wyoming statute, so I can't comment about that.
Thank you.
We have a question from the chat. Was Gabby Petito pregnant?
She was not pregnant.
Okay. Valid question and answer, because people have been saying that.
Thomas Taupe.
Hi, doctor. My question, did you seek the advice of a forensic entomologist or forensic botanist during the course of your investigation?
The FBI has sent materials to a forensic entomologist.
WPBF 25 News.
Hi, doctor. This is Terry Parker from WPBF in Palm Beach County, Florida. I'm wondering, if you said you were very thorough in this autopsy and examination, could you give us an example of the type of test and analysis you performed?
From Brian Enton to everyone. Please unmute Brian.
Included a whole body CAT scan, a examination by a forensic pathologist, an examination by a forensic anthropologist, and toxicology evaluation. So we pretty much covered all the bases.
Jeremy Kopis.
Yes, doctor, thank you for taking the question again. You mentioned that strangulation is the cause of death. Can you talk about how you came to that conclusion?
I cannot. That is part of the autopsy findings and is not discoverable by Wyoming statute.
Was there?
At this point, they can't ask him any questions. If they can't ask how they got to strength, like he just said, his whole point was to prove, or just to say what the cause of death was and the manner is, but he can't defend how he got that.
Is there any other cause of death that was a possibility in this case?
Well, we look at all causes, all possibilities when we try to determine cause of death, but this is the cause of death that we determined.
I have a question from chat. It is, was the manner of death obvious? Strangulation marks, bones, injured neck.
The man, nothing is obvious in a situation like this. So detailed analysis was used both to determine manner and cause of death. I can't go into details on how we made those decisions.
Kristen Thorne.
Yes, hi, Dr. Kristen Thorne with WABC in New York. Could you just please repeat about how long you believe the body was out there? Unfortunately, the last time you spoke, we just didn't get a good film shot of you saying that. Would you mind repeating that?
Our initial determination is the body was in the wilderness for 3 to 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Jorge Fitzgibbon. You have to unmute. I believe you're still muted.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, Dr. Blue. Relating back to the date of death, is there a date listed on the death certificate?
The death certificate has not been completed at this time, and the death certificates of the state of Wyoming allow for approximate dates and variability in those dates. So I doubt, well, there will not be an exact date of death on the death certificate.
Eileen with News 12.
Hi, doctor. This is Eileen LaPalmer from News 12. We sort of asked it a little bit, but is there a way that you can explain how you know that it was strangulation? Sometimes I know that a hyoid bone could be missing. Is that something that you discovered in this case?
I can't comment on that because it would be a finding of the autopsy. And as I stated before, in the state of Wyoming, the autopsy results are not public knowledge.
So then you can't clarify whether it was manual strangulation or with an item, correct?
That's correct.
Dang. We need Brian to get caught, essentially, just to find out what happened.
Michael Ruiz.
Thanks for making time for us, doctor. Was the entire examination conducted at your lab in Jackson, or was Gabby Petito's body shipped to another facility?
The examination was done entirely at our board in Teton County, Wyoming.
Anna Gregorio.
Gregorio. It's actually Ashley Banfield with News Nation. Doctor, thank you for taking the time today. Can I ask you if from the very beginning of your process, was it obvious that the cause, not the manner, that the cause was strangulation and that you just needed this time to prove it out? Or were you completely unaware from the beginning what the cause of death was for Gabby Petito and had to resolve through a number of puzzle solving manners and other experts to arrive at that final cause determination?
In a situation like this, nothing is obvious. And so the cause of death required investigation.
We have a William Walkie.
Hey there, Dr. Blue. My name is Will. I'm from KHOL Jacksonville Community Radio here in Jackson. You're a small town coroner here in Western Wyoming. This case got so much national attention, as we can see right now. Can you speak on what it was like doing your job with such a big spotlight on you? Thanks.
Well, it was quite the media circus and continues to be. Unfortunately, this is only one of many deaths around the country of people who are involved in domestic violence. And it's unfortunate that these other deaths do not get as much coverage as this one. I'm assuming that because the deceased was a blogger, that this received more coverage than others, but there are a lot of both men and women who have lost their lives that aren't covered with this kind of media attention.
Francis DeFiore.
Yes, hello. This is Francis DeFiore from the Port Charlotte Sun. I just want to go back to my previous question, although I imagine your response. Is there anything you can tell us about how exactly you determined it was a 3 to 4 week period before death?
I can't go into that
Finding on the
information
autopsy.
at this time.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Why don't we
We
take
have-
one more question then?
We have the snack squad.
Hey, this is Andy Mercado from Mercado Media. Could you go over the length of time the autopsy report took? And thank you for your time, Dr. Blue.
Well, the length of time was involved in the sense that we received a report from the investigating and examining forensic pathologist. We had a report done by our anthropologist, and we had toxicology studies that were done in addition to the report from the radiologic studies. So all these came together, and that's what took time for us to complete this investigation.
Hi, doctor. Could you speak to the state of decomposition, and did that at all hinder your investigation?
Yeah, I can't comment on that.
Seems he's fast food.
Dr. Blue, would you like to take any more questions?
Unless there's other specific questions that haven't been answered already, why don't we close this? And thank you all very much for your participation. And I can tell you that I will not be answering any other detailed questions about the autopsy. As I said, state statute prevents us from doing that. So contacting me by email and phone is not going to reveal any additional information. But thank you for your time, and I appreciate your interest.
Dr. Blue, I have one more question. Is there a way to determine if this was accidental or deliberate?
You mean in the sense of a homicide?
Yes.
That would be up to law enforcement to make that determination.
Oh, so he didn't make that
you.
determination.
Again, thank you all very much for your time.
All right, one more time, guys. Watch them.
Should I start over then? Thank you for joining us. Sorry about the audio issue. I'm Dr. Brent Blue, Teton County, Wyoming coroner. After a detailed investigation by our forensic pathologist, our anthropologist, and local law enforcement, with assistance from the FBI, the Teton County Coroner's Office is following the following verdict. In the manner of death of Gabrielle Lenora Petito, we find the cause and manner to be death by strangulation, and manner is homicide. By Wyoming state statute, only the cause and manner of death are released. Their autopsy findings and photographs and that sort of material is not released by state statute. And I'll be glad to entertain some.
Okay. I mean, at least you get some privacy. Live tweeted. And new information. The Laundrie family attorney, if we talking, just texted Gabby Petito's death at such a young age is a tragedy. While Brian Laundrie is currently charged with unauthorized use of debit card belonging to Gabby, Brian is only considered a person. What? Was he trying to defend him? Brian's still missing. We will address the pending fraud charges against. Like, there's no need for this. There's no need for a statement from a lawyer, especially for a person you're representing that's not around. Like, you don't need to defend him. I mean, on social, like, he not like this. He does need to defend him in court.
Watch the presser at 2:30 is to stream it. I posted a link, and you don't have to have News Nation on your cable to watch the link. So you can just click on the link.
Thank you, everyone,
and then we'll
for
have all the
tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Please leave a like on the video.